So thank you so much for being here, gents. Really excited. We're recording today for the Ecommerce 360. And today I've joined with Cameron Douglas, the CEO of Videopro. And I'm also here with Nigel Poole from Matter Design. And my name is Joe Fox, and I head up partnerships for Fast in the ANZ region. So thank you for being here. Really excited about having this conversation. I know there's been a lot of things happening in Videopro's world, Matter Design's world, everything with the way that sort of COVID has been going on and how that's affected business in sometimes a positive way and a negative way, but super excited to chat about headless commerce here today.
So Videopro is an AV company that sells and installs all forms of AV across the spectrum: consumer electronics, home theatre, professional AV, video conferencing, right up to live performance spaces. We're doing an entertainment centre right now. And so for us, the focus in our business has been always on experience and on innovation. We had the opportunity to do a website rebuild. We hadn't done one for 12 years, so we were leaping forward in technology, and we made the decision to engage with Matter Design because they showed the same appetite for innovation that we had and a willingness to take risks on a relatively new architecture, which is headless. And also because our business is always willing to try something new. We don't necessarily play it safe. So for us, headless architecture's first motivation was that it was very fast. We wanted lightning speeds, and headless gave us that. As we started to learn more about it, we came to the realization that it allowed us to focus a lot of the customer experience on the front end and to be able to integrate in all of the systems and platforms that we were using in the back end in a very separated but seamless kind of way. Throughout this journey, we also looked to engage with Fast. Fast originated out of Queensland, and I knew the founder there, and I just saw what they were doing and thought, wow, these guys are really on a trajectory. I want to be involved with that. We reached out, and then we started to learn that Fast had a really cool approach to headless commerce as well. And we thought, wow, this is really integrating well with what our whole idea is and what we're trying to do. So we started working with Fast. We brought all of the different organizations together, and we're really happy with what headless is providing for us at this point.
Thanks, Cam. And yeah, my name's Nigel. I'm the CEO here at Matter Design. And we were lucky enough to get selected as the agency to work on this project. And for us, I guess the business itself was very appealing, long established, a lot of expertise within the team, really hungry to do well as well, great reputation with their customers and all the things that you want to work with from a e-commerce point of view. So, and they hadn't done an upgrade for a long time. So we're really excited to bring them a long way forward. And we've been working with Headless for the last couple of years. We really see a lot of advantages for a lot of merchants in doing headless commerce as a way to kind of somewhat future-proof your stack, like putting all the investment into the interface that customers actually engage with, and giving merchants the flexibility to bring in other services in the back end to run their site. So as an architecture, we're really excited about headless. We've developed a microservice architecture around that, a Jamstack architecture. And we were really excited to how the existing systems that Videopro have to run their operations could tap into that type of architecture. So we felt like it was a really good fit. We also think everyone wants speed online, and headless is the way to get speed. There's no doubt about it. It's the fastest way to build a site. So that's a big reason we've put a lot of resource behind developing this out. And so I guess for us, we see headless commerce as being from a website architecture point of view, decoupling the front end from the back end systems. That means that we can use whatever back end systems we need to build that customer experience on the front end, and gives us more flexibility to do pretty much whatever we want on the front end. So from our point of view, we kind of define headless commerce as from a website point of view, but we think what Fast is doing with the checkout experience is really exciting as well. It gives customers the ability to check out from different starting points that aren't your traditional e-commerce flows. So I think headless, is really applicable to the fast way of thinking as well.
Fantastic, and that's awesome. And I think it's really cool. Both Cameron and you, Nigel, you've really touched on, I guess, what fast is all about. And not only do we really try and focus on making a frictionless experience for the customer, but also making everything a lot faster for the merchant and for the merchant experience, and really being able to implement fast checkout in a headless atmosphere wherever it makes sense for a customer to be able to check out. So super exciting, and it's been fantastic, obviously, working with you both on this project and having everyone's various teams involved. And it's exciting about what we've been able to see come out of that relationship.
So I should probably start by saying we chose the BigCommerce platform because it does both B2B and B2C in a relatively seamless way. And something that's interesting about our company is that we can sell a consumer product to a business, or we can sell a professional product to a consumer. So that kind of sort of fed the whole idea of separating the back end and front end, because a business customer wants a different experience to what a consumer does, but they both want to buy the same things. And that really drove what we were sort of looking to do. So that was certainly one of the use cases. The other use cases were a customer journey might have a start and a finish, but it goes all over the place. And the ability for a headless commerce experience to capture somebody at any particular juncture of that customer journey and convert that into a sale to make their experience more seamless is a really powerful one. So that was very important. And then also, we have an expertise in our business, and we wanted to be able to be the influencer. We wanted to be able to mesh content and commerce together as they become more and more intertwined. And so how do we commercialize the experience that we've got in something as complex as electronics and integrated electronics? And this allows us to get the value out of saying something really valuable and important, but also be able to then convert that into a sale, which is a really important part of the business.
Yeah, and I think that's when we started learning more and more about Videopro, we'd hear stories about how long people had worked at Videopro, how long the salespeople were in shops, and how they built relationships with customers over many years, and to the point that customers would just give them a call to get home theater fitted out or whatever it might be. I guess we learn what expertise that they have in-house and how that adds value to the process. They're not the only people selling these products, but they have this expertise and knowledge that customers tap into to help make a decision. So, and like Cam says, there's more than just the online selling of products that they do. They fit out, big facilities, and they have a whole lot of expertise in AV that feeds into that consumer experience. So I guess when we looked at the whole business, we wanted to unite everything into one experience and give people access to the different parts of the business and have them cross-pollinate the different audiences. So that blend of content and product is I think a really key part of the strategy for Videopro. I think firstly, it makes it fast. We build a composable headless stack. So that what that means is when the web page loads, it's already pre-built, and that takes out a lot of time in the page load. It's sort of seconds, microseconds, but every page load is faster, and that only improves the customer experience. So people can get research more in a single session and get further through the journey. So speed is a big part, but then also the ability to pull information from multiple systems into that page and create the whatever customer experience we want through that journey is what we can do because of headless.
So I think focusing on the word of 2021, hybrid, is probably a really exciting part of what we're all moving towards. I mean, there's so much talk from the virtual people that no one's going to shop physical. There's so much talk from the physical people, no one's going to shop online. There's this war that's constantly raging, and the real answer sits with both. It's not even in the middle. You get to have both. I've been blown away at the click and collect experience that we've been having since it's been installed into the new site. It's had a huge impact. So when I think about customer journey, it's the marriage of the virtual and the physical experiences, the marriage of old media and new media. You know, the fact that somebody can look at an ad in a newspaper, put their phone over it and buy it is amazing. That's what Fast's doing. That's what we're trying to do. It's like wherever somebody wants to buy, just let them, and stop telling them that they have to be here or they have to be there or they have to do this or old media is dead. There's a place for everything. And I think that's where the biggest impacts will be and are happening with Headless and with the customer journey.
Absolutely love both of those answers. And I think to touch on that point too, Cameron, is like a big thing about what we saw with Fast is you need to be able to be where customer has the highest intent to purchase. So as you mentioned, whether that be scanning through a QR traditional media newspaper ad or a magazine ad, or being able to read a holiday gifting guide and be able to one-click checkout from that, or one-click checkout from an abandoned cart email that prompts the shopper to be able to then check out. I think that's the true power of Headless, and that's how it really impacts the customer journey.
Our industry is a little bit interesting because we have a lot of high value items. So, you know, certain payment options cap out at $1,000 or $2,000, and in turn, they will be removed from the product page when you go to buy something because it's a $10,000 OLED TV or something like that. I think that what Fast's done, which is really interesting, is it's not in the traditional sense following the buy now to pay later model. It really is changing payments. And payments is a really interesting place. And I think the question, well, obviously the question's accurate if everyone agrees with it, but people are not wanting to have an abandoned cart because someone doesn't have the particular payment method. The question is there a way to broker that experience across all of them? Right now, we just have lots of colored logos on our website to make sure we catch everybody. Whether that's going to be what it looks like moving forward, I mean, we certainly don't think about going into a bank and pulling out Westpac flavored cash or NAB flavored cash. It's just cash. So I think there's definitely space for more disruption in the payments system. And I think that Fast is well and truly in a great place to be doing that.
Yeah, I think having multiple payment methods is critical for every merchant. Like, people have money in different places and want to use that money to buy things. So enabling that on the website is very important. But I think also what Fast is doing is changing the method of making that purchase so that you can purchase at different points of the experience. And I think that reducing the friction on that purchase is what we're going to see more and more of, where it just becomes easier to buy things wherever you might choose to buy. And so it's not going to always follow the traditional path of add to cart, checkout on the website. It's going to be, okay, I want that. I've seen that in the ad. I want to get that right now. And what Fast is doing is creating that shortcut to that purchase.
I think Headless works so well with BigCommerce because BigCommerce have really focused on making sure that it does. I think BigCommerce have really invested in creating good headless architecture. Obviously, with Fast, when it comes to Fast specifically, BigCommerce has a really, really easy integration with Fast. So that allows us to be able to look at other headless activities as well. But purely, I think the reason for it is that BigCommerce are really setting themselves apart by investing heavily in this space and becoming market leaders in this space.
Yeah, and I think we've worked with BigCommerce for about 4 years now, and one of their key differentiators is just the speed of their APIs and the throughput that we can get with their API structure. So having that API first SaaS-based e-commerce system means we've got a really solid e-commerce system that we can draw from through their APIs and write to as we create orders. And it also has these integrations out of the box, such as Fast, so that people can buy a product, they can add that to an order, they can choose to then add another product and add that to that same order. And it's really well thought through the Fast and BigCommerce integration, so that BigCommerce is essentially enabling these strategies from innovative companies that emerge and being that sort of, hub for the commerce part of the system.
I guess following on from the previous point that Nigel made is that obviously with having direct integrations to things like BigCommerce, because a lot of what we're doing is simply integrating a fast button wherever you can integrate a fast button. It means that we're enabling across multiple different platforms. So not only on a P2P level on a headless website, such as a headless BigCommerce website, but also integrating into things like abandoned cart emails, and also integrating into things like gift guides or blog articles or display advertising, all of these things that Fast can integrate into activate a better headless checkout experience for customers.
We work with a lot of omni-channel retailers, and it really gives us the opportunity to be more than just an online brand. It enables that physical connection to be made. People can actually meet real people and interact with them and see products in real life. So what we want to do from an e-com point of view is leverage that network of physical locations through e-com. So that's about giving customers information about where they can see the product, where they can click and collect the product, and also giving them that channel to engage with those people in the store and build that relationship. So Headless, again, just gives us that flexibility to create that customer experience that we want. The click and collect experience on the Videopro sites, really quick and smooth and taps into their stores. And so, just gives us the chance to leverage those physical locations.
I think that taking payment is both a conflict in the fact that it's very high value and very low value. It's very low value for the customer a lot of the time. They just want to do it because what they really want is to get their thing or to buy their thing or to look for their thing. But if you don't get it from the vendor point of view, it's like the most high value thing. People can get all excited and then not buy something and the whole thing hasn't worked. So I think that we have an experience now where someone sits at home, finds what they want, buys it in their one click on Fast, and then they drive to Newstead and pick it up. That's a really powerful use of technologies, because what we've done is we've taken something that a lot of customers don't like doing and making it really good in being able to just do it on their phone and doing it through their own identity and through fast checkout, and then not have to do the freight experience as well. They've been able to go out and pick it up themselves. You want to take the best of both worlds when you're looking at omnichannel. You don't want the worst of both worlds, which is how some people are looking at things right now. The best of both worlds is enabled very, very successfully through headless commerce, and that's really exciting us right now.
Don't think I could have two better people on the call to be able to chat about omnichannel with, because Cameron's vision of creating this amazing omnichannel experience for Videopro, paired with Nigel and the team's technical implementation skills, has been a really, really good marrying. And it's been great to be able to see what a truly powerful omnichannel experience looks like. And I think having the website and everything built on BigCommerce, but in a headless infrastructure, and then obviously having Fast integrated that, it really is a great partnership and pairing to be able to create a truly amazing omnichannel experience. And Cameron and Nigel did a great job of elaborating what those experiences look like. But I think, once again, having those brands working together truly creates a powerful omnichannel experience. And I think it's only going to continue to grow more and more. I think we've seen this a lot through COVID, and I think we'll continue to see it with this new normal that everyone talks about, is being able to purchase anywhere online quickly and being able to either have it delivered nice and easily, or be able to, as Cameron mentioned, go to your local store, pick it up, and have that nice customer journey and have that interaction with people in store as well. I think you can't get anything more powerful than a good omni-channel experience.
If I can elaborate on that as well, Joe, you want people to walk into your stores. That is a really important part of retailing. You do all this merchandising and you create this great experience because you want people to go into it. So when you can enable a great in-home experience with headless commerce and then make it really easy for them to pop in, maybe they've never walked into your store before. Maybe that's the first experience they've ever had with you. And all of a sudden, now they know who you are. They know the people. They see that you're real. That stuff's really valuable. And it's certainly being enabled by that headless commerce.
Definitely. And I think Even more so with Videopro, to be honest. Being a born and bred Queenslander, I've had a lot of experience in the Video Pro stores, and obviously seeing the knowledge with the staff and everything like that. And a lot of people might purchase something online, but they don't have any idea of how it's going to work from a technical standpoint, or do they need one of your technicians to assist with the install? And I think being able to have that experience in store is spot on. So as I mentioned earlier, the perfect partnership between essentially four really cool brands.
I think headless commerce gives merchants a competitive edge. Any brand that's really serious about e-commerce and their customer experience, and how that, whether it's an omni-channel retailer or only e-commerce retailer, creating that online experience and making that as good as it can be is really can enable success across different strategies. And I think it can really help any merchants that really want to make that investment in a long-term kind of key piece of their e-commerce. I think it's probably suited more to sort of like medium size to larger companies. I think it suits companies that have large catalogs, a lot of information, and a really thoughtful approach to what they want for their customer experience. That's where it really kind of creates a lot of value. Yeah, I think merchants like Videopro, we've worked with really well collaboratively. They have some really good people in-house that have really, we've been able to form a really good team there. And I think that has really helped the process as well.
I think Headless is definitely a platform that can facilitate that process and help people check out easier. But obviously things such as Fast that integrate very easily into a headless environment create this opportunity for shoppers to be able to check out in a very easy and convenient way without having to remember passwords. Their identity is stored and remembered. So having Fast operate in that environment, whether it be from an abandoned cart email, from a gift guide, a blog article, a display advertisement, it completely eradicates that need to remember passwords, to complete, very long forms and go through this incredibly long checkout process, which typically results in a huge number of abandoned carts, as you mentioned. So I think it's not only just about having the headless architecture that makes the whole process quick, but also having a solution like Fast and Fast Checkout enables users to just be able to check out in one click.
So in the professional side of our business, we do something called software-defined control, and it determines how someone interacts with a smart building. And the basis of that is to use your identity. And therefore, we ask the question, if we know who you are and we know where you are, we can create an experience for you. The management of that identity is really one of the most important things going on in business today, and it's not getting the attention that it probably deserves. We pass our identity to a lot of the big tech companies who are also advertisers, and in turn wonder why we get so many advertising emails. I think that banking and payments and more high trust industries are really positioned well to have the identity piece. I think Fast is a perfect example of an organization where if they build a really powerful trust with their clients, then people will start using Fast to do single sign-on into other non-Fast models. And you can absolutely see that being something that payments and banking can do better than advertising and big tech.
I think headless is not easy and straightforward. It's something that you need an agency that knows what they're doing and has experience doing it. So that would be the first thing I'd say, to choose an agency that is really committed to that type of architecture. And then I think secondly, we see projects go really well when there is some technical capability in-house that can work really well and facilitate a much smoother process and I guess an easier take up of this technology internally from an operational point of view.
Yeah, Nigel's dead right. The relationship between the agency and the business and the capability that sits in-house is paramount. We are slightly ahead of the curve, I think, in headless architecture at the moment. This is not Lego. You are not assembling according to instructions. There is a lot of creation. There's a lot of collaboration. We have a bunch of programmers in-house. That makes all the difference. If we didn't have those programmers in-house, I can't imagine how Nigel or Ash or his team would be working with us. It would be painful for them and painful for us. So it's still early, but the early bird gets the worm. If you want to be innovative, you've got to take a few risks. And at the moment, we're definitely feeling the benefit of taking those risks. And so I recommend it, but don't go in, with your eyes closed on this one. I think that there's a little bit too much focus on virtualizing everything at the moment. Certainly the attention that ideas like the metaverse get suggest that we're all going to be surrogates living inside a virtual world. And I think that bringing that into the physical world is where it's all going to get really exciting. The physical world's an exciting place to be. And I think that as we start to bring in more virtual experiences into the physical world, it's going to completely change commerce and the way that we experience commerce. It's going to completely change the experiences and the way that we talk and meet with people. For me, hanging out inside a video game style room and chatting with people, that's not the end game. That's not something that's going to blow my mind. But being able to bring in virtual experiences into the physical world, that's a far more exciting place to be. So I think that's going to get a lot more attention in the coming years.
Blurring the boundaries of virtual and physical is what's going to happen. Like at the moment, it's sort of like two worlds, but that creates a lot of, inspiration for new ideas. And that's what I'm interested in with the whole virtual discussion. It's like, what is it? And no one really kind of can say because it's still being created. And I think that's what's really exciting about that discussion. But I think at the end of the day, like we're physical beings and we're shopping for physical products in a lot of respects. And so I think it's really exciting to look at that and see what we can bring into the traditional e-commerce space. So I think that's definitely going to influence the next 5 years. And then I think also this, we've talked a bit about identity and being able to do things simpler because the system knows who you are and where you need packages delivered and how you want to pay for them, and creating less friction on that purchase path will be something we see as well.
I think that friction is a really interesting term that's going to be evolved. I think that good friction and bad friction is going to be the way that people are going to start referring to things. Friction, we talk a lot about frictionless, and the reality is that if everything was frictionless, none of us would sort of have anything to do. There is really great friction that we love as well. And I think that defining the difference between the two in the future, where that's good friction, that's bad friction, is going to be a new way to look at things when we sort of talk frictionless.
If we look at the future of e-commerce, and I think if I look at some of the key points that both of you have mentioned, in that is I really do think we can look at it any which way, whether it be, this melding of the physical and the digital worlds and all of those sorts of things. But I still think there's going to continue to be a very large focus on the customer journey, depending on demographics, age groups, locations, geos, all of those sorts of things. There's going to be a lot of different customer journeys. And I think the future of e-commerce and the ones that do it well will continue to map out, use data to establish and create journeys. And some of them will have friction and some of them will be frictionless. But I think it's still going to be this big emphasis on customer journey and what that looks like, and being able to create multiple customer journeys depending on one's preferences, and continuing to refine data to map those customer journeys to that. So I just want to say thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Obviously, thank you to BigCommerce. At the end of the day, it's been a great partnership between all of our brands, between Videopro, Matter Design, Fast, BigCommerce, and being able to pull it together, create some amazing headless experiences, being able to create an amazing omni-channel experience. I hope everyone has enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you so much for joining us, gents. Looking forward to catching up in person too, and not being in the metaverse to catch up. So thank you so much, gents. Cheers.